That is a good question. Yes, I've worked with fiber artists a lot, specifically in Alberta. I think that there are tons of really, really exciting work happening right now in weaving and also tufting that I'm definitely paying attention to and definitely thinking about for future exhibitions. For past exhibitions in the scene that just closed, we had Kim McCollum. She's an Edmonton artist who works in weaving. And also Yvonne Mullick did an exhibition called Gift Love that was down in Manning Hall, and those were giant gloves that she had made for the exhibition. Yeah, to get started in curation, I would say just go for it. I think a lot of people think that, curating has to happen in a gallery or a museum, and it absolutely does not have to. It can happen anywhere. So, whatever spare space you have, even in your apartment or your basement or outside, whatever you have, just go for it. Yeah, I collect a lot of artworks, mostly Alberta artists. I have a lot of things in my collection, a lot of Alberta artworks hanging in my home. Right. Which object would I use to explain humanity to aliens? I love this question. I think it's super fascinating and super interesting and really fun to think about. When we're often thinking about artworks, we're thinking of them as so tied to an individual or tied to a culture or tied to a place. So it's really kind of interesting and kind of a challenge to think of, to look more broadly of what would we share to sort of define all of us. One artwork that I actually showed in an exhibition here at the AGA a couple of years ago and comes from our collection is by Margot Henry. And this is a work of art that is an entire installation that has a tiny village, and there's a UFO sort of landing over top of the village. So I think what I might share with an alien are artworks that show UFOs and show aliens. And I think that you could have an interesting conversation where you're showing, sort of humanity reflected in how we interpret and how we think about those aliens that we are representing in our art. And maybe there's something more that can be shown about us versus or shown about us sort of seeing how we see these aliens.